where we learn to live, not only successfully, but also peacefully. Today, we will gently dive into wisdom, written hundreds of years ago, that surprisingly perfectly describes our modern financial stress. We constantly chase something big, forgetting the true value of what we already have. I promise that after this, you will look differently at your salary and even at your loans.
Let's be honest. Financial anxiety is our constant modern companion. You receive your salary, but immediately give it away for loans or utilities, and there is still no peace. We keep thinking about how to grow our savings, yet we fear that inflation will eat them up. This constant fear of being fired or losing a job keeps us awake at night. When was the last time you couldn't sleep because of money? You can reflect on that, quietly, for yourself. We look for quick solutions in everything, especially in finances. It seems to us that there is some magic button that will instantly make us rich and calm. We read thousands of tips about passive income, but rarely does anyone talk about passive peace. Today, we will talk about how respect for the small can slowly, gently break down the wall of your anxiety. You don't need to buy a new course. You just need to change your perspective.
Here is a Rubaiyat that can turn your understanding of value upside down. It goes like this. What is clay to the potters? Worth nothing, worthless dust. But if they judged strictly, they would not knead it and trample it. This is the dust of fathers. Let them have pity on it. At first glance, it is just about clay and potters. But in reality, there is a deep economic and emotional lesson hidden here.
Let's slowly translate this into our financial language. The potter is you, the one who manages your life and your resources. The clay is your time, your daily effort, and, surprisingly, your salary. You often look at a small lump of clay, meaning your small savings, and consider it worth nothing. This text invites us to think about the true price of what we call worthless dust. We devalue the routine, boring parts of our work or financial life. For example, those 10% of your salary that you put aside every month seem insignificant. We want $1 million right away, instead of saving it step by step. But a potter cannot create anything great if he despises his basic material. Devaluing the foundation leads to financial chaos and inner tension.
Open the book that has outlived centuries. The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam is not just poetry, it is a dialogue with your inner self. Each quatrain is about life, love, time, and meaning. Put aside the noise of everyday life. Allow yourself wisdom that speaks across the ages. Book link is in the description below.
The big idea of the Rubaiyat is that even the simplest, cheapest material has its history. In our world, this dust is our routine and our self-respect. If you treat your work as something worthless, how can you expect respect from your employer? Even if your salary is not ideal, your time has value.
Who are our fathers in this context, whose dust we are trampling? They are our past experiences, our first mistakes, our first tiny savings. They are the hours spent learning that allowed us to earn at least something. We are often ashamed of those early stages where we earned very little. You cannot despise your own path.
If we do not respect our own contribution, our fear of being fired becomes enormous. We think we are easily replaceable because we already see ourselves as worthless dust. Changing your inner attitude toward your work is the first step toward financial stability. Respect for the process gives you inner strength that does not depend on the size of your salary.
Gladwell would say this is the economics of respect, where appreciation of the foundation multiplies results. We must not trample the clay that feeds us today.
Even if a loan is pressing you, and you work only to pay it off, that money is still the result of your time. It is not worthless dust. It is the foundation of your future freedom from debt.
Let us look at savings. Many people despise small amounts in their accounts. They say, "It's just pennies, it doesn't matter." But this small deposit is the direct descendant of your efforts. It is the clay that has not yet become a pot, but it already exists.
Big results are always made up of respect for small steps. If you despise your daily path, you end up with constant anxiety. It is like building a house on soil you look at with contempt. Inner relief comes when you value every working day, not only payday.
A potter who tramples clay without respect is a person who does not value their own resources. In the modern world, this appears as reckless credit. We want to own something now without respecting the future time we will have to give to pay the debt. Credit is trampling the future dust without compassion.
That is why credit presses so hard on the psyche. You are not just giving away money. You are giving away a part of yourself that you previously devalued. If you respect your financial resources, you will be more careful with debt. Respecting the clay means not taking more than you can shape. When you work only to pay off debt, you feel like that dust being trampled. This anxiety is tied to the feeling that you do not own your work. To get out of this chaos, you must again feel that even the money going toward debt is still your money. Gently change "I am suffering" to "I am investing in closing my debt."
The Rubai says, "Let them have pity on it." Pity here is not weakness, but respect and compassion. We need to feel pity for our own clay, for our resources. We need to feel compassion for the version of ourselves who worked hard to earn that salary. This inner dialogue creates dignity and quiet strength.
Respect for the dust of the fathers is respect for the story that made you who you are. If you constantly criticize your past financial decisions, you destroy your current motivation. Even if you were fired, that experience is part of your clay. It is not failure. It is material for your next success.
The true value of clay is not in what it is, but in what it can become. Your salary is not just a number, it is potential. Do not let the fear of being fired or the size of your debt define your inner worth. You are not clay. You are the potter who decides how to use it.
Now, we slowly move from financial anxiety to a state of relief, just as Coelho would promise. When you begin to respect small money, small steps, and your daily routine, the chaos gently decreases. You stop chasing unrealistic, get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, you focus on the strength of your foundation. The biggest mistake is valuing only the result while despising the process. A potter who does not respect the clay will end up with a cracked pot, no matter how beautiful the idea was. If you give your best every day, your peace is the result of your daily work. It does not depend on bonuses.
Respect for the dust is respect for your beginnings, even if they were modest. Remember your first job or your first money earned. That was your most valuable material. When you understand this, the fear of loss becomes smaller because you know you can start again.
Have you ever had money appear, but peace did not? That is because you reached material success without changing your inner attitude toward the process. Your inner potter continues to trample the clay without compassion. True relief comes when you value not only the final savings, but every coin that made it there.
The Rubai calls us to judge strictly. This is not about self-blame, but about honesty. Honestly assess how much time you spend devaluing yourself and your work. Pity for the dust is the recognition that your time and your effort cannot be worth nothing. This is a very powerful psychological attitude.
Your financial stability will not begin with a new million-dollar contract. It will begin with respect for the salary level you have today. It means you stop comparing yourself to others and start valuing your own clay. This is the transition from financial chaos to a simple, clear structure.
So, what do we take from this Rubai? First, do not let the fear of being fired devalue your daily contribution. Second, treat your savings, no matter how small, as a precious resource. Third, avoid debt. If you do not respect that part of your future, you will have to give away. Respect for the foundation is the key to peace. Remember, you are the potter, and the material in your hands, however worthless it may seem, has history and potential. Start your day with respect for yourself and your work. Gently change your attitude, and your financial life will slowly but surely change for the better. Thank you for being here. Take a breath and carry this calm with you into the rest of your day.